XFX Radeon RX 7800 XT and 7700 XT is now available. Intel Core Ultra 7 155H processor has been spotted with 16 cores. Starfield has got a DLSS 3 frame generation mod and is completely free. Lastly, Intel's new Core i9-14900K Raptor Lake refresh CPU has been spotted in Geekbench.
This is Tech Track.
Okay, so firstly we have the XFX Speedstar Mark C3 or Mark 319 RX 7800 XT has been launched. Basically, as you can see, is this GPU, which is the same design as the previous one, as the 6800 XT or whatever, like the other classes. But yeah, look at the pricing, $539 for this GPU here. Usually the MSRP is $500 for the 7800 XT, but you have to pay $40 premium for this variant here because it's a premium model from the XFX. You can also get the, I guess, the other models at $500 MSRP. You can find them, it's pretty easy to find, but right now we're looking at the XFX variant here. We also got the XFX Speedstar. This is Quick 319, a bit smaller, I believe, because it's an RX 7700 XT, and this one is coming at $459, $10 premium. Basically, $449 is the MSRP, and this is the $459, so $10 premium for this model, this particular model here, which is not bad. $10 model is not a bad increase. So you can get the RX 7700 XT or the RX 7800 XT. I think the reviews are already up, so you can check it out on YouTube. So yeah, basically these two cards are very solid. Basically, especially the RX 7800 XT for $500 or even $540, it is the better deal compared to others that you can find, like in terms of cost per frame data. So not a bad card, though it literally is basically a reskinned 6800 XT with better AV1 support or FSR 3 support. I don't think FSR supports every GPU, so that's not really a thing. But yeah, it's an interesting GPU with better cost per frame, so we'll see how it goes. Next up, we have a Geekbench score here, as you can see. And if you look into the CPU information, we're looking at the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H. It's a horrendous naming that they're going for the Meteor Lake processor for the mobile lineup, of course, because it's a H series of CPU, but it's a horrendous naming scheme. I don't even know what 5155H class is. Like, I know for a fact that it's Ultra 7, meaning that it's a 8 core or 16 core 22 threads. In this case it's 16 core. Basically it has like those P cores, E cores variant. We don't really know because we can't really tell. The specs are not completely listed like that, but I think the main performance score is 8 performance score, and I think that's 8 efficiency core. That would be the case, but I can't really tell if it's a higher end 8 core processor or with a lower, because there are differences, because it's a 155H, and I've never heard this kind of naming scheme before. And previously we've mentioned that Intel will be changing their naming scheme to Intel Core Ultra. So honestly, I don't really like the naming scheme, but either way we can't really complain. So as you can see, in the single core we're getting like 2182, and in the multi-core is getting 7643. But there has been another test done by the same user here, and as you can see, it did increase the multi-core by a big margin. Because look, the single core didn't really get that much, 2294 versus 2182, but the multi-core we're looking at 12,749. So it is I think a valid test here, which is interesting that they got a corrected test which gets this much performance in the multi-core. So that's not bad. Again, no idea what this processor class is, because 155H is a weird naming scheme. The whole naming scheme is weird, just Intel Core Ultra. So yeah, we'll see when they releases more of the information for other lineups of Meteor Lake processors. Next up, we have the Starfield frame generation tech, which you can now get this as from the Nexus mods right here, if you don't want to use the FSR 2, of course. And especially if you have a ray tracing card, the RTX cards, from NVIDIA, then I believe DLSS is a better way to go. And yes, you can do that. I'm really don't understand that why they haven't added DLSS at this point, because you can just literally just mod it out, You can replace it with FSR 2 with DLSS 3 frame generation. That's kind of crazy, but they didn't do it. It's just, I guess that's the marketing scheme, the sponsorship deal, I guess, that until like 1 to 4 months you have to keep FSR only, and then later you can add DLSS, because 1 to 4 months is the time where a game is in its prime, and then later on it drops its, like, I guess, user base. So most of the time the total player count will be higher in the first 4 months or so. So I'm guessing that is the strategy here, to not use any other upscalers, only FSR2s, because that would be the sponsorship deal. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But right here, as you can see, this is the mod that you can get, and I'm not gonna read the whole through because this is well, you can do that, the mod and stuff. And these are the downloads that you can get for FSR2 Streamline Steam and FSR2 Streamline Xbox. These are the two downloads available. You can download them and then use the mod manager, I guess, to mod it out. So we did guess this image here with basically telling you how much performance you can get. It says DLSS-G. So I'm guessing only the frame generation, right? So not entirely the DLSS, only the frame generation part is there. So my understanding would be they're still using the FSR, but the frame generation tech that they're using is the DLSS. So it's an interesting way to put it, that's for sure. So yeah, the performance uplift is good because, of course, it's a frame generation. It would be good from 56 FPS to 110. So that's not bad. Also, in this scene, we're also looking at 56. I mean, I replaced the same image here, so that's not the bigger deal here. So, but yeah, basically, yeah, it just gives you good amount of performance here, almost doubling it. So that's not bad. That's pretty good. One more thing that you can find here, as you can see, it says NVIDIA DLSS-G version 3.5.0. This is the indicator basically telling you that, yes, DLSS-G is functioning in this game. So if you're not aware that DLSS-G is working or not, this is the indicator that you can get, and I think that will help you to understand if it's working or not. So yeah, great for the RTX users, the NVIDIA GPUs users, if you want to use the frame generation and get more performance, because believe me, you're gonna need it, because it's a damn heavy game. Literally depends on CPU and GPU at the same time. Like, at first we thought it could be a CPU based game, but no, it's a damn heavy game. Yeah, that's for sure. And lastly, we have another Geekbench score here, and as you can see, the single core score is 3,121, and the multi-core is 19,032. So it's looking pretty damn good, right? Because it's some crazy numbers here. Well, basically, it's yep, exactly, i9-4900K, the Raptor Lake refresh CPU here, and as you can see, it's a 24 core, 32 threads. So not bad. It's packing with cores, its performance are looking pretty good. And of course, video cards have compared this already, so that's pretty nice. So as you can see, that the i9-4900K goes up to 6 GHz, which is expected, because when you compare the i9-3900KS at 150 watts, obviously, not sure what is the rating for the i9-4900K. I believe it is the same as 150 watts, but I could be wrong. But yeah, in terms of single core, it's looking nice. Probably like not that much of an increase, as you can see, but still good. But in multi-core, it did drop a big. Yeah, my understanding would be it's not running full potential because it says 150 watts, right? So that would be the case. But even when you don't run at 150 watts, the i9-3900KS or the 3900K, it just looks like the multi-core is still losing, right? So in a way, multi-core isn't looking that great, but the single core is looking a bit better, that's for sure. Though the pricing will determine whether this is a good CPU or not. But for now, I feel like in multi-core it kind of lags behind, so that's not a good thing. Or that could be a test failure or anything, but not really the case. I don't think so. But yeah, the multi-core is not looking that great. The single core, however, looking nice, not bad.